We received this message just the other day from a listener named Paul.
Hey, Ralph. I've been seeing these television commercials about something called a reverse mortgage, and they really seem too good to be true. I've been struggling to pay my bills, and now I have some medical bills which need to be paid, and I simply don't know where I'm going to find the money. My house is paid off, and besides needing some repairs is really fine for me as I get older. But the thought of having some extra cash is really appealing. I just don't want to make a huge mistake. I've asked my children about it, and they said to do what I think is best, but I'm still struggling with the decision. You asked for questions, so this is one for the show. I hope you can shed some light on this for me and help me make the right decision. Thank you, Ralph, and God bless you and the show. You are truly helping people like myself make better financial choices.
Well, we're going to answer your question today, Paul. But are you a senior wondering if a reverse mortgage could help unlock equity in your home? Well, stay tuned to hear the pros, the cons, and steps to take when considering a reverse mortgage. We're going to break it all down for you, so don't miss today's show.
Welcome to the Ask Ralph podcast. We're listening to an experienced financial professional with over 30 years of experience can help you make sense of confusing questions, current headlines, and industry trends about taxes, small business, financial decision-making, investment strategies, and even the art of proper budgeting. Ask Ralph makes the complex simple by sharing his real-world knowledge from a Christian perspective with all things financial. Now here's your host, Ralph Estep Jr.
Welcome back to the show on this beautiful Sunday here on the farm. I'm telling you, the sun is shining, the rain has stopped, the weather's getting warmer, and the cows are shedding their winter coats. And they're eagerly awaiting to be set free onto their greener pastures after spending the last few months on concrete and mud. Guess it's like a spring break for them. I am really excited to share today's topic with you. In today's episode, we're diving into the world of reverse mortgages. Yeah, you've seen these commercials on television with people like Tom Selleck. We're going to decipher what they are. We're going to tell you what they are, how they work, the pros and cons, but most importantly, we're going to talk about how to determine if one may be right for your unique situation. These reverse mortgages have become more popular in recent years as ways for seniors to access home equity without having to sell or downsize. That's the cool thing about them. But truly, my friends, they aren't for everyone, and it's important to fully understand how they work before moving forward with one. So whether you're considering a reverse mortgage for yourself or one to advise an elderly parent, this episode is for you. So let's get started. Before I get started, don't forget to subscribe to the show and join our email list. You can do that at AskRalphPodcast.com because you don't want to miss tomorrow's show where I'm going to discuss giving it over to God. That's our spiritual Sunday topic for this week, giving it over to God and letting Him handle it for you. So let's jump into our topic for today. First, let's start by understanding what exactly is a reverse mortgage and how does it work. This is not rocket science, but it's a little bit unusual. A reverse mortgage is a special type of loan that allows homeowners age 62 and older, and that's the key, to convert part of the equity in their home into cash. You can receive funds as a lump sum, you can get a line of credit, they'll pay you monthly payments if you wish, or a combination thereof. But here's the unique part. You don't have to repay the loan as long as you continue to live in the home. And that's where it gets a little bit cloudy. So you want to make sure you read the fine print on this. But basically, if you're 62 or older and you have equity in your home, a reverse mortgage would allow you to receive money from that home to use for your finances. With a traditional mortgage, you make monthly payments to the lender. That's what all of us have become accustomed to. Every first of the month or whenever you have to make your mortgage payment, you send them a check or you go online and make that payment to them. But a reverse mortgage works in reverse. That's why it's called a reverse mortgage. The lender pays you, and you don't have to worry about monthly payments. Here's the way it works. The loan simply accrues interest and is eventually paid back when you sell the home, move out, or unfortunately pass away. So let's talk about some potential pros to these things. And this is obviously the biggest one. It gives you access to tax-free cash from your home equity without having to sell or downsize. That's the key to this. So if you've got a home that's worth $200,000, you've got a ton of equity now. Let's say you don't have a mortgage at all. You've got a ton of equity there you could use by getting a reverse mortgage. Now, there are rules and regulations about how much they'll lend you. I'm not even going to get into that today. We're just talking about an overview of these things. Other thing it will do is allow you to receive extra money monthly to cover expenses in retirement. So let's say, for example, that you haven't done a great job of planning for retirement. but you've got this equity in your home. Well, one of the things you can do, we talked about, you can get a lump sum, you can get a monthly payment. You can get a monthly payment each month to subsidize your living expenses. Rather than taking it all at once and incurring all of that interest all at once, you can receive these payments on a monthly basis, and then your loan balance just increases each month. So obviously your interest is going to grow as well. Now let's say that you already have an existing mortgage. Well, one of the things you could do with a reverse mortgage is pay off your existing mortgage. You could also pay off your credit cards or other debt that you may have incurred and free up monthly cash. Another thing it can be used for, and a lot of people don't think about this, it gives you the ability to afford in-home care services. Now, this has become very vital for people that allow you to age in your home rather than having to go into a nursing facility. This may give you enough money to hire that home aide or that visiting nurse or something like that to help you stay in your home. It's also a way to finance home improvements and modifications or accessibility. I've had a couple clients that have used it to put ramps in, or one that put in one of those chair lifts for their stairs. So it's a way to finance home improvements. It can also cover emergency costs like medical bills or home repairs. Like Paul mentioned, he's got some upcoming medical bills. So this is a way to handle those things. Now, of course, with anything, when there's pros, there's always going to be some cons. So let's address those right now. The thing you need to understand with any kind of loan, and especially reverse mortgage, is there are some upfront costs. You're going to have to pay an origination fee. You're going to have to pay for an appraisal fee. And there'll be other closing costs. Think about it just like when you bought the home or you did a refinance. They're going to be that same sort of thing. The lender's going to want to see how much the house is worth. You're going to have to go to an attorney. You're going to have to do this reverse mortgage because they're going to have you sign documents that basically give them a note on the house. The thing you also need to understand, and they don't talk a lot about this on the Tom Selleck commercials, the interest rates for these loans are generally higher than traditional mortgages. So you may be better off to refinance your home, maybe take a cash out refinance. Yes, you're still going to have a monthly payment, but there are ways that you can structure that because these interest rates on these are generally a little bit higher and the terms aren't great. I am not an expert on reverse mortgages, but you've got to really read the fine print. For example, if you had to go into some sort of rehabilitation for more than 30 days, there are all kinds of rules about having to stay in your home. The other thing about these reverse mortgages, they're very strict on the amount you can borrow. Depends on your age. It depends on your home value and the current interest rates. Another thing you need to be aware of is your equity in your home is going to decrease over time as the interest accrues on the loan. So since you're not making those monthly payments, basically the way that it goes, instead of the balance coming down on the loan, actually the balance is going to go up on the loan over time. So your equity is going to decrease. So what does that mean? Well, at the end of this, your heirs will inherit a lower home value and have lower equity in your home. It also may trigger an income tax issue if you receive more than the value of home. Now, I've not really seen that play out, but in my research and preparation for today, that's one of the things they mentioned. So Ralph, how do you determine if a reverse mortgage is the right move? That's what Paul's basically asking. Hey, Ralph, what do I need to do here? My kids aren't really giving me a lot of guidance. And I appreciate that. I think his kids are just trying to let dad make his own decision. So here's some key steps. This is critical. Review your overall financial situation. Do you have enough retirement income without tapping into home equity? I really think this needs to be a last resort. These commercials that make it glamorous and this is fantastic. Yeah, maybe. Depends on your circumstance. Are there other options to bridge gaps like downsizing? Are you really better off not being in the home? Is there a second floor? And as you get older, do you really want to be going up and down steps? Is it in the right location? Is it too big for you? So maybe the idea of downsizing, relocating, or maybe something simple as getting a home equity loan would help bridge that gap and resolve this problem. Which leads me to the second step. You got to calculate your cost. You got to factor in all the fees, the loan interest, and most importantly, decreasing home equity over time. And compare those costs to alternatives. Step number 3, you got to consider your timeline. When you might need to move. How long will this home serve your needs? You don't want to lock into a reverse mortgage and then 6 months later determine that you need to go into skilled nursing or something, some sort of assisted living. And here's the key, folks. I stress this all the time, and I hope I give you good information on the show, but sometimes I have to say to you, look, this is complicated. You have to talk to a trusted advisor. And I'm going to say that in this case. I would not recommend anybody getting a reverse mortgage without talking to a financial, tax, and legal advisor before committing to it. It is really important because there are all kinds of nuances to this, and you don't want to make the wrong decision. Like Paul said, he doesn't want to make a big mistake. So seek those people. If you want to talk with me, you can go to my website. That's at askralphpodcast.com/store. There you can schedule a consultation with me. It doesn't matter where you're located in the world. Zoom has opened that up, or we can actually do a telephone call. But reach out to somebody that you trust. Talk to a financial, tax, or legal advisor before doing it. And then once you really consider doing it, shop around. You don't have to go with the guy that was on TV. Compare rates, compare terms, and compare the closing costs to find its best fit with you. And then I think this is an important part too. Discuss this with your heirs. Like Paul said, he talked to his children about this, and they said, you do whatever you think is best, Dad. Now, I don't know whether that's a legitimate or a heartfelt thing, or was it just kind of blowing them off? I don't know. But I think it's important to discuss this with your heir and explain the impacts on their inheritance. You don't want them to be surprised when they find out that Dad's house is not paid off at all, and really there's no equity in it, and so we're going to have to scramble to sell it just to pay back the loan. And this is the key, folks. Read the fine print. You would be shocked how many of my clients sign things they haven't really read or fully don't understand. Ask questions. And when they give you answers, ask more questions. This is a big deal, folks. You want to make sure you're making the right decision. The bottom line is that reverse mortgages can be helpful for some seniors, but they also come with trade-offs. You've got to take time to weigh all your options and seek wise counsel. With that said, with thorough research and planning, you can make the best choice to protect your financial security. Now, before we wrap up, I want to remind all of our listeners to visit our podcast page. That's at askralphpodcast.com. There you can leave us a review, share your thoughts like Paul did, record a message for us to play on the show, and we'll answer your questions. More importantly, make sure you join our email list to enter into our weekly $25 Amazon gift card drawing. We're seeing people coming into that list, and we're sending out our notifications when we have new episodes drop. So it's a great thing to get involved with so you'll know what's going on in the show. And like I said, you can also schedule a consultation with me to discuss your specific circumstances. Well, that wraps up our overview of reverse mortgages, what they are, the pros and cons, and steps to take if considering one. I truly hope this episode has equipped you to have informed discussions with your loved ones and your financial counselors. The truth is, reverse mortgages can unlock home equity, but shouldn't be taken lightly. As always, I say this again, pray for wisdom. That's what this show's about. We talk about finances, we also talk about the impact of that on your spiritual walk. And seek godly counsel as you steward the resources God has given you. Be sure to visit our website, like I talked about, at askralphpodcast.com for more episodes on practical financial topics with a Christian perspective. There's over 300 episodes out there. I encourage you to go back and listen to them. I apologize if the audio wasn't good when I first started, but we're learning. So my friends, as I always say, stay financially savvy, and may God bless you in all your decisions and in your financial life.
Thank you for joining us on the Ask Ralph podcast. And with a simple click to subscribe, we'll invite you back to our next episode. And remember, financial issues don't have to be complicated. Just ask Ralph. The information contained in this episode of Ask Ralph is based on data available as of the date of its release. Saggio Accounting Plus and Ask Ralph Media, Inc. is under no obligation to update this content if changes occur. Applying this information to your specific situation requires careful consideration of all facts and circumstances, and any information provided is not to be considered as financial, tax, or legal advice. Please consult your tax advisor or attorney before acting on any material covered.